Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. I came across this TikTok video by an Indian woman who says her entire family is African. I don't know if she lives in Africa, if she's from Africa, but she says that she's around a lot of Africans. And she has something to say about African men, but she also included other black men as well. She should. She has an issue with black men, and she is admonishing black men for something that they're doing. And I'm not saying it's all black men, but enough of them are doing it for it to be a problem. So this isn't just coming from this Indian woman. This comes from white women. White women have been doing this routinely. Hispanic women are doing it. And Asian women to a point. They are admonishing black men because when they get around them, they feel the need to degrade black women. I'm going to play this video and then we'll talk about it.
I waited a whole damn week just to calm down before I shoot this video so that I don't overstep my boundaries. But this happens in front of me so often that I'm so sick of it, I can't just shut the fuck up anymore. Just for context purposes, my entire family is African, and so I am around a lot of black people. So tell me why black men specifically feel the need to degrade black women when they are around non-black women, as if that's supposed to impress me or make me feel good or make me want them. I waited for her cue before I joined her because I'm not going to disrespect her like that, and we put him in his place. But what she said in the end was correct. She said to him, I'm glad she gets it, but do you understand how embarrassing it is that she does but you don't, what you just did?
Now this video is very cringeworthy to me, but I'm too old to get upset about things that ignorant black men do. I know that black men are emotionally immature. They're not formulated in the way that other men might be. So they do things like this to try to build themselves up, to make it seem like they're special and make it seem like they are desirable. They think this makes them desirable to other races of women. But this woman said, I'm not impressed. You don't make me feel good when you say this, and it doesn't make me want you. And I think that black men should pay attention to people when they tell them this, because they are telling the truth. This is emotional abuse of black women, and it's an effort of a man who is not big enough on his own. He's trying to impress somebody by what he says about somebody else. Now you have to know, children do stuff like this, trying to put one child down to try to build himself up. That's a childish act. But this is not an effective strategy when you're dealing with grown people. There seems to be a multitude of reasons why this type of black man is angry at black women, ranging from maybe bringing them into the world in the first place, to holding black women responsible for them not being white men, to black women being able to navigate the society better than they can. At any rate, they're destroying their own credibility, and that's what these women are trying to tell them. You're not improving your image in anybody's eyes by degrading black women. You're making yourself look weak and foolish. And I don't think they're just doing this out of self-hatred. Self-hatred might be a part of it, but it's also jealousy. I believe that black men are jealous of black women. We live in a white male-dominated society. In a male-dominated society, women fare better than men. White women are at the top of the women's food chain in our society, but black women have found a way to wedge themselves in and make a place for themselves, which is a smart thing to do. But what do black men do? They walk into every trap that's set for them. If somebody puts drugs in the neighborhood, they feel like they got to take the drugs. If somebody puts alcohol in the neighborhood, they feel like they've got to drink the alcohol. Any kind of trap that's set, black men will walk into it. And then when the consequences come down, they start blaming everybody. And the first person in line for the blame is black women. Black women have always cared about black men and have always taken abuse from black men. I think that has to be noted. And this doesn't mean all black men. It means enough of them for it to be a problem. And even in the video, the woman said, black women carry their emotional weight. Black women feel sorry for black men, and that is a mistake. So they take the caring that black women have for them and they turn it against black women, and then they run to other women trying to use that as some kind of bargaining chip. Oh, you're something special, but those black women over there are nothing. And they think people can't see through that, and they can. And that is where the childishness comes in, where the emotional and intellectual immaturity comes in, and where the unformulation as men come in. That is not what men do. And that is what you can't get them to see. One of my subscribers said a few months back that black men are jealous of black women. And I believe that jealousy takes a lot of different turns. I think it has to do with black women being able to navigate better and black women being able to earn respect from white men that black men can't earn. White men and black women don't have that bad of a problem. And I believe black men are jealous of that. So they take it out in ways that you wouldn't expect. Instead of them trying to build respect so people would respect them, they're going to go back and try to tear black women down. And putting black women in a negative spotlight to try to make themselves look big starts very early. And I noticed that working with middle schoolers, black girls will do the work. Black girls will get in the groups with the white kids and they'll get the work done. White kids don't like to work within the groups with black boys because they're disruptive. They want to play, they want to try to tell jokes. They just do anything that's distracting. And then when the black girl succeeds, they start talking about being dark-skinned, about having short hair, being overweight. She lives in the project. She buys her shoes at Dollar General. Just anything to try to tear that girl down. There are too many black men who have not reconciled the fact that white men run the society. They run the society from every aspect. Other races of men understand that, and they carve out a place for themselves by building something for their people. Some of these places you can go and you can't even read the signs. It's in Chinese or it's in Spanish or it's in Indian, whatever they call their language, because they're building for their people and their community, even as they live in a white male-dominated society. But black men don't want to build. They don't want to do that. They want to throw black women under the bus and say, look at me, I'm better than those black women. They're awful. Or whatever it is they're doing that's pissing folks off. White American women have been speaking out against black men doing this for quite some time, and I think white women more than anybody is probably disappointed in black men, and I'll tell you why. There was a time when white American women, I believe, had a healthy interest in black men because of the miscegenation laws where black men and white women couldn't intermingle, they couldn't even talk. Black men would get tarred and feathered for just talking to a white woman. So when the ban was lifted on interracial marriage, I think white women had a real interest in black men. But I believe that has gone south because they see how ignorant they are and they see how undeveloped they are, unformulated as men. White women now that you see with black men are the most marginalized, maybe the most unattractive, or the most mercenary white women who see this as an opportunity for me to get some money out of this Negro and I'm going to get it. But as far as taking them seriously, we see those relationships one by one bite the dust. These men are not formulated. They're not emotionally mature. They're not intellectually mature in many cases. A grown man going around talking about the women in their race, degrading those women, is a man that is telling the world, I do not have an emotional center. I do not know who I am in connection to the rest of humanity. But black men don't listen when people tell them things. That's another thing that I've noticed about black men. They don't listen. Now this woman is clearly telling you that you coming around me talking about black women and degrading black women does not impress me. It doesn't make me feel good because chances are she already feels good enough about herself. And she says, it doesn't make me want you. And that's major. Because they think that they're elevating themselves. I believe they think they're elevating themselves in the eyes of these women. And they're not. They're diminishing themselves. And another thing, this hate speech on social media perpetrated against black women, it's reported that the FBI is investigating these men, these black men on social media. And we know that some of them have been kicked off. Things like this have an end point. Now, black women have complained, but now you have an Asian woman complaining, white women complain. Now, what's going to happen is all of this data is being collected right now, and at a point in time, all of this is going to culminate in something that's going to happen that's going to be very detrimental to black men. Stop and Frisk was all about racially profiling black men, and there was all this outcry about racism and racism and racism, and black women were screaming to the top of their voices about racism. But every time there's an attempt to put black men in check over this kind of behavior, black women go to bat for them. But there will come a time when black women will try to stand in the gap for them, and it won't work, because then it'll be documentation. It's very ignorant, and it's really a desperate attempt to make yourself look good in the eyes of people that are not even interested in you. And here's another thing you have to consider about men who do this. They don't have any conversation. They don't know anything to talk about to white women or Indian women or even Latino women. They don't read. They don't know anything about current events. They don't know how the political system works. They don't know how business works. They don't know anything to talk about. And I think we really have to look at that very closely. They are talking about what they know, which is black women. And they have a negative attitude toward black women. So that is what they're putting out there. But these men don't have a conversation. They are not socially mature either. So we have emotional immaturity, intellectual immaturity, and social immaturity. They don't know anything to talk about to these women. And I challenge somebody, anybody, to prove me wrong. And sadly, black men don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. I just was scrolling through my internet news and came across this. Mitch McConnell voted against legislation that would protect interracial marriage despite the fact he's married to an Asian woman. Mitch McConnell is the Senate minority leader, and the Republican senators are now voting on the Protection of Marriage Act. They are trying to do away with gay marriage and interracial marriage. So keep your eyes on that. Now, everybody thinks that's settled law. This, you can marry whoever you want to. Just like they thought abortion was settled law. Just like the DACA people thought that was settled law, which was just an executive order. But these politicians are still scheming just like they always have. Black men are drunk with arrogance. They are turning the only ally they've had against them, and that is black women. So the world, and I mean the women of the world primarily, are asking black men to stop coming to them and talking about black women, degrading and demeaning black women. These women don't have a problem with black women. They don't have anything against black women. Black women haven't done anything to them. And they can see through what black men are doing. It is embarrassing to see this happening. But we know that black men who are doing this, they really don't know any better. And this is all they have. All they know to do is get somewhere, make a fool out of themselves, talking about black women and talking about things that are inappropriate anyway. That's what they do. It's a lack of education, it's a lack of sophistication, and it is a lack of an emotional center, as I said before. They don't feel connected to the people that they're a part of, and they're trying to latch on to people who don't feel connected to them. Maybe these other races of women can get through to them, because if black women ask them to stop doing it, it'll just be, oh, you're just jealous, or you don't want to be held accountable, blah, blah, blah. But maybe if these other races of women continue to tell them that what you're doing is not attractive and it does not make me want you and I'm not impressed with what you're doing, well, maybe that'll make a difference. We can only hope. I believe some of this arrogance is coming from them finally getting access to these other races of women. So I'm just saying, you need to pay attention to what's going on, because all this access you think you have, you might not have. It took 50 years to bring down Roe v. Wade. It won't take that long to overturn interracial marriage, because white women are going to be on board with that too. Because the thing about that interracial marriage, I'll just say this before I end. Mitch McConnell is not concerned about his marriage to an Asian woman, and he wouldn't be concerned about it if he was married to a black woman, because the white man has never been checked, because they're in charge. And in this society that can sometimes be very harsh, especially to black men, if you think you can afford to alienate your only ally, go right ahead. Okay, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.